in the stillness of your room to read this letter. Nasty letter!
Frida! And where is the land surveyor?
The land surveyor? I forgot all about him. He must have gone out long ago.
But I haven't seen him. And I was in the hall nearly the whole time.
Well, he isn't in here.
Perhaps he's hidden somewhere. From the impression I had of him, he's capable of a good deal.
He would hardly dare to do that. Perhaps he's hidden underneath here. No, he's not there.
It bothers me not to know for certain that he's gone. Not only because of Herr Klamm, but because of the rule of the house. And the rule applies to you, Fräulein Frida, just as much as to me. Well, if you answer for the bar, I'll go through the rest of the rooms. Good night. Sleep well.
My darling. Come on, it's too close down here. I'm never going to him again.
Frida!
I'm with the land surveyor! I'm with the land surveyor!
What have you done? We're both
No, it's only a little but then I've won you. Don't worry. But just look how these two are laughing.
Who? What are you doing here?
We have been sitting here all night. Ours is no easy job.
You would like to sit beside me while I write? Listen, in that case I could not write. I can't do much anyway, but in that case I could not write at all. For writing means revealing oneself to excess, that utmost of self-revelation and surrender. Even that degree of self-revelation and surrender is not enough for writing. One can never be alone enough when one writes. Why, there can never be enough silence around one when one writes. Why, even night is not night enough. I have often thought that the best mode of life for me would be to sit in the innermost room of a spacious locked cellar with my writing things and a lamp. Food would be brought and always put down far away from my room, outside the cellar's outermost door. The walk to my food would be my only exercise. I would then return to my table to eat. Then I start writing again at once. And how I would write. From the depths I would drag it up.
Joseph K.
I dream about you almost every night. Just imagine. Last night I celebrated my engagement to you. The whole party sat at a long table. I sat at the lower end between strangers. You were standing up rather far away from me. Your eyes, directed towards me, were dark, but in the center of each eye there was a spot that shone like fire and gold. Then my dream became diffused. I noticed how the servant girl behind the guests' backs sampled the semi-liquid dish she was to hand around in a small pot. Then she put the spoon back into the dish. This sent me into an awful rage. Priest heard the sweetness of these sounds and said,
This is not the voice of a man, but of the devil.
In the presence of all the many admirers, he exorcised the demon and drove him out. Whereupon the corpse, for this body had been animated by the devil instead of a soul, disintegrated and stank. The relationship between me and literature is similar, very similar to that, except that my literature is not as sweet as that monk's voice. To discover this from my handwriting, however, one would certainly have to be a very astute graphologist. What do you think of that, Felice? You don't like my book. But why don't you tell me? Tell me in 2 words that you don't like it. It really is full of hopeless confusion, or rather there are glimpses into endless perplexities, and one has to come very close to see anything at all.
Won't you take a seat? I've been asked by my friend to say something to you. That's all. She wanted to come herself, but she is feeling a little unwell today. She asks you to excuse her and listen to me instead. She would not have said anything more to you in any case than I am going to say.
Well, what is there to say? Your friend evidently refuses to speak with me.
That is so. Or rather, that isn't it at all. You put it much too harshly. Surely, in general, conversations are neither deliberately accepted nor refused. But it may happen that one sees no point in a conversation, and that is the case here. My friend knows what this conversation would be about, and is therefore convinced for reasons of which I am ignorant that it would be to nobody's benefit if it actually took place. To tell the truth, she did not mention the matter to me until yesterday, and only in passing she said, among other things, that you could not attach very much importance to this conversation either. I considered it advisable, if the matter were to be completely cleared up, that you should receive an explicit answer. I offered myself as an intermediary, and after some hesitation, my friend yielded to my persuasions.
Thank you.
must not falter or suffer as a result. I cannot understand what has happened between the two. It is incomprehensible to me. I know that Franz, in his way, is very devoted to Felice, but he has never had the gift of demonstrating his affection like other people.
Perhaps he is not made for marriage, since his only endeavor is his writing, which is the most important thing in his life.
For all that, I was counting on Felice's intelligence. For I said to myself that a clever woman is able to change a man. Now all my hopes are dashed.
Felice should keep the bracelet I gave her in memory of a motherly friend.
What does the gentleman want? Sit down. Won't you sit down? You feel a little dizzy, don't you? Don't worry. That's nothing out of the common here. Almost everybody has an attack of that kind the first time they come here. This is your first visit? Well, then it's nothing to be surprised at. The sun beats on the roof here, and the hot roof beams make the air stuffy and heavy. That makes this place not particularly suitable for offices, in spite of the other great advantages it has. But the air, well, on days when there's a great number of clients to be attended to, and that's almost every day, it's hardly breathable. When you consider, too, that washing of all sorts is hung up here to dry, you can't wholly prohibit the tenants from washing their dirty linen. You won't find it surprising that you should feel a little faint.
You can't stay here.
You can't stay here. We're causing an obstruction here. If you like, I can take you to the sick room.
I'm quite able to go away now. I can't manage it after all.
I fancy that the gentleman's faintness is due to the atmosphere here. And the best thing to do, and what he would like the best, is not to take him to the sick room at all, but out of these offices altogether.
That's it. I should feel better at once. I'm sure of it.